Look, let me tell you something, okay? This is like the not the cost, but when you're a high vibrational person, you have to also be confident on top of that, because you have this natural authority about you, okay? And it's, for a lot of people, it's not digestible, and so you have to be confident because they don't know, kind of, they really don't know, kind of, so you have to be confident. So you know this, like the very confident woman, and that's working. But the cost, I mean, not the cost, but it's like, the side effect is like the side effect of the high vibrational person. Like, but stay high vibrational. When you're high vibrational, oh my god, you have so many you get into, and like, if you get into a philosophical state when you're very high vibrational, you get into a very philosophical state. But it's the best state because you're egoless, okay? You're egoless. That's amazing. And when you're high vibrational, okay, every situation is turnable. But also you have to be confident when you're high vibrational. It goes hand in hand. You cannot be, you need to be confident, okay? And then it's good. But really, when you're high vibrational, you have something like a cultural shock, okay? I tell you from my experience, you have something like a cultural shock. Because, like, I have this authority, I just have it, universally speaking, and then, I cannot, then I have to be confident. Then I have to also be confident and to take on that. You understand? When then you have to take on that role, okay? It was given to you. And not it was given to you, but it's just like that, okay? It's just like that. Yes, being high vibrational, okay, is a full-time job. Yes, it's like kind of like that, okay? But I would suggest anyone, okay, connect to nature, connect to women. Like, look, every man has to connect to a woman, and every man has to worship a woman. Why? Because, like, your ego is literally, like, if you have ever had some sense for me, you know how bad ego is. Because if you're high vibrational, if you're egoless, or if you are like connected to the divine feminine, you know about the possibilities of infinite, of the infinity. Okay, you play with infinity. When you're high vibrational. And when you are egoless, and when you get more into that philosophical state, look, then your spirit, your capacity for spirit is widening, okay, and you become limitless. And then, look, this egotistical society, okay, I mean, like, the ego is hindering you from exactly that point. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you narrowed, okay? And ego is narrowing you. So, but men have that. So what can men do? Men can, like, worship women and be around women, okay? When men are around women, they're better, okay? But that's a woman thing. That's my whole thing, okay? That's a woman thing. Only women can do that, okay? Only women can do that. Only women can do that. Only women can reach that state, okay? So naturally, I would say even women should be the leaders then, okay? Because my vibrational state puts me in that position, because I have to be confident. I have to. You understand what I mean? I have to be confident, and I have to push myself forward. So what does it make me? It makes me a leader. So high vibrational people get to be leaders, okay? Stay egoless, okay? Egoless, because you know what opportunities, you know how wide your life can be. Like, your growth is that you can play with infinity, okay? When you're egoless, when it's vibration, when it's all energy, okay? When it's all just energy, and when you're just high vibrational, you can play with infinity, okay? You can play with infinity. So what is the ego? What is the ego in comparison to that? Okay, what is the ego in comparison to that? Is nothing. An ego is a false sense of self that says, okay, I'm someone. Okay, but when you say, I mean, divine ego is something different, that women have is something different, but also no, okay, but also like divine ego, okay, but you know this, but like the ego is narrowing you, okay, in all terms is narrowing you, because the ego is like a stick, is like a firm thing. So it's good when you want to, is both important, okay, the divine ego, but also ego being egoless, okay, because ego can help you to achieve something, okay, but egoless is allowing you to play with infinity, okay, is allowing you to play with infinity, being high vibrational, okay, being high vibrational, being energetical, oh, being spiritual, okay, on those things you focus, on those things you focus. That's a flex, okay, that's a flex, not a flex, but you know, that's, some people are just like that. I cannot tell you how some people are just like that. They're just like high vibrational, okay. I have like a cultural shock at times, but not really, because I know naturally, like I'm the leader of my life. I don't know, I don't know otherwise, you know. Sometimes good, but I just know being confident is really important, okay. Being confident as a high vibrational person, you have authority, you're the leader if you want to or not, so you got to be confident and you got to be disciplined. It's a responsibility. I see it as a responsibility, okay. I see it as a responsibility. But you play exactly on universal law, you understand. It's so interesting for me, it's so interesting for me, all those terms, momentum, leverage, growth, and those are such a divine leadership, those are such a divine terms, okay, those are such divine terms, and they're so high vibrational, okay, so high vibrational. So like always, and look, let me also tell you something, when you're a high vibrational person, you can smoke, you can a little overeat some sugar there and here, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, because you know, it's keeping you. Did you heard that the most living woman was a woman that was all smoking and drinking like every day? I can imagine, because I bet she was high vibrational. I bet that was a happy lady. I bet she had the great energy, okay? Because it's exactly that energy that is the high vibration, okay, is a high vibration. The atoms in your body are high vibrational, girl, like, you know, it's a good thing, it's a good thing to be. Look, sometimes when I speak, the power, with the power that I speak, like spiritually or energetically, they try to come and get my power, you understand what I mean, like so sometimes so creepy. But you know what I do then? I pull back, I focus on my stuff, and because of laws of universe, because I'm detached, the chakra gets opened, okay, the chakra gets opened, then it's lightened. When the chakras are open, you feel the energy here, you feel the energy here, you feel the energy here, you feel the energy there, you know, is all energy. So